You've got questions? Andrew Mason has the answers. This is Mason's Mailbag, presented by Prime Sport.
Minicamp is in the books. Off-season work is done. Next time the Broncos are together as a team will be for training camp next month. But the questions and the Broncos chatter goes on. I'm Andrew Mason. Thanks for joining me here on Mason's Mailbag. Let's get started with a question about recent off-season work from Robin Murray, who asks OTAs and minicamp. Well, start on the offensive side of the ball. Isaiah McKenzie, explosive player, rookie out of Georgia. Small, 5'7", 173 pounds, but quick, was able to show off that quickness quite a bit. Jeff Hireman, among the tight ends, really stood out from time to time. You know, Jake Butt, it's going to be a while before he's ready to go, so Hireman might be able to fill that void. Made a lot of nice catches during OTAs. C.J. Anderson and Devontae Booker, both were pushing each other at running back. Both look good running behind the number one offensive line. Looks like the Broncos are going to have plenty of depth there at running back because D'Angelo Henderson, a young guy behind them, also showed some flashes as well. On the defensive side, start with the defensive line. Derek Wolfe and Jared Crick both got bigger over the offseason, 15 to 20 pounds bigger, and both played bigger as well. Both were very active in the pass rush, got their arms up, deflected plenty of passes at the line of scrimmage, very active, and also were stout against the run. Go to the linebackers, Brandon Marshall and Todd Davis. Marshall in particular showing a lot of leadership, growing into a bigger role on that defense, and was healthy until he had the little Achilles tweak at the end of this week, but should be good to go for training camp. Broncos are going to need him to come up big. And then in the secondary, Justin Simmons had a lot of big plays, very good at tracking the ball, playing that center field type of role at safety, able to cover a lot of ground, made a lot of plays, including a nice diving interception off Paxton Lynch during practice this week. And to go back to the offense, one more name I'm going to mention, Jordan Taylor. Came up with some big catches. You know, talked about him in the mailbag before. He seems to make enough plays where he's almost saying, I dare you to cut me. Even with all the depth at wide receiver and the draft picks the Broncos have brought in, McKenzie and Carlos Henderson. Wouldn't surprise me if Jordan Taylor finds a way to stick on the 53-man roster because he just keeps making plays. Those are some of the guys who stood out. Next question from Al Peterson. What is the deepest position on the Broncos roster going to training camp? Well, it's a position that I talked about in the last answer, wide receiver. It was a good position even before the Broncos added Carlos Henderson and Isaiah McKenzie in the draft to provide a burst of interior quickness. Now it's a position with an embarrassment of riches. You're talking about a situation where you've got some good receivers that may not make the 53-man roster when all is said and done. Now, you know Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders are going to be there, and being draft picks, you expect Henderson and McKenzie to be there, which leaves a battle royale for what could be two roster spots among Benny Fowler, Jordan Taylor, Marlon Brown, who made some catches early in OTAs, missed some time because he had a little injury at the end of minicamp. Khalif Raymond, who was injured throughout minicamp and OTAs, he was out with a hand problem, but he could be in the mix as well. Cody Latimer, he made a lot of plays with Trevor Siemian in particular. So Jordan Taylor, Benny Fowler, Cody Latimer, Khalif Raymond, Marlon Brown, they are all veterans, all with experience, and based on the calculus, if Thomas, Sanders, McKenzie, and Henderson are healthy, you may not see more than two of them, maybe three if you somehow keep 7 receivers making the 53-man roster. And then you've got some other younger guys as well, like Hunter Sharp, who's been flashing on returns, made some plays on offense as well, a young guy out of Utah State. Receiver, a lot of quality there. Some very tough decisions coming for the Broncos at wide receiver when you get into training camp and you get to the cut down to 90. Remember, there's no cut down to 75. It goes from 90 to 53 at the end of the preseason. So when you make that cut to 53, that's going to be some tough calls, and you wonder if maybe the Broncos are going to see if they can trade a receiver or two at some point to trade from a position that is looking exceptionally deep right now. Thanks for the questions, and if you want to join us next week, go to denverbroncos.com/Mason's Mailbag or find me on Twitter, @MaceDenver. Please use the hashtag AskMace. Until next week, take care, and thanks for watching.